One last look at what's on the line. Welcome back to Writer's Theory. I'm James Winterthorn, and today is the 69th day of my attempt to write a novel in less than 90. Yesterday, we wrapped up the initial point of view of Patrick and shifted back to Mercer, and we're going to carry on with that initial shift. And like I talked about yesterday, in this final chapter, I will do some point of view shifts throughout the chapter. I mentioned yesterday that this is a technique that I like to use to keep the attention elevated. It is also a very clean example of a tactic that I referenced earlier for writing action, and that action, when I like to write action, I like to do it in small scenes or beats in which the characters have a goal in mind. They try to achieve that goal, they do or don't, and then have the consequences. That's a little bit of what's happening here, so it's a little easier to see. Scene break, or in this case, point of view break, new point of view. So like, what's the goal of this little mini scene? New scene. What's the goal of this little mini scene? Now new scene. And carrying on like that through this building of action in the final, I guess not the final, but the climactic chapter of the story. I feel like I rambled there a little bit. I hope that made sense. Let's get on to the first part of day 69, and you can see what I'm talking about. So I had picked up, I'm not sure if I really thought that Mercer's point of view here was the next right move. And I almost came back and deleted this, but I decided to just push through it anyway. And have this initial scene be them pushing into town. So we know that Mercer and company are back, and things are about to get serious. So my goal here is really just keep descriptions high, keep tension up. Since they're running full speed with their horses, there's not a lot of opportunity to have dialogue back and forth. Description is really my best tactic here. And so I didn't have a whole lot to say, and I really was just trying to imagine what an event like this would look like, how people would respond to it happening. And so as I'm writing, that's really what I'm trying to achieve here. And then, so I've got another scene break. So this is another point of view shift. This is what I was talking about. And so this was, I think, what I wanted to do, and I was definitely going to have this in here, was I was going to have Shaw's point of view one more time. And so I had referenced this character earlier. I think initially I put him as an oil man, but I later learned that oil during this time wasn't the commodity that it is in just 10 or 20 years after this, and certainly what it is today. So I shifted this character Simmons to be a coal miner, or tycoon rather, and have him be the big donor. And I want to have a final discussion demonstrating who Shaw is, what he's willing to do for this opportunity before him. And so that's the goal of this particular point of view shift. So let's get back to that, and I can share with you how I went about doing that. And so I wanted this character, even though he's only going to be in this particular chapter, this Simmons character, to be a little different of a wealthy tycoon where Shaw likes to smoke his cigars and drink his brandy and pretend he's all fancy. That Simmons just being a hard-working rich guy that doesn't share the appreciation of the finer things. And I really just did that just to have some a dynamic between the two. I didn't want to have basically the same characters interacting with each other, and they're kind of being like a big muckety-muck convention happening here. You might have seen the jump there in the video. Sometimes I'm recording it. I might pause it to go do something and then forget to turn the video back on. So that's what happened there. And so here I just really wanted it to be clear that if Shaw got his way, that basically what's going to happen is he's going to use the military at his disposal to run off or kill Native American tribes that might be in this tycoon's way for mining. So I wanted there to be a little more at stake than just Shaw doesn't get away with it. The action's back in chapter 3. So he's going to continue to be a bad guy and do bad things for money. And I wanted that to be very clear going into this final sequence here. And so that's why this particular scene is in here. Plus, Shaw is a point of view character. We do want to see his point of view at the end. And so that's why I've included it here. And tried to end this one also on a tense moment. So when Mercer was riding into town, there was whistling happening to alert whoever needs to be alerted that there's danger coming in. And so I wanted to end that particular scene with them hearing the whistling. So danger is approaching. I liked how this turned out. And it certainly accomplished what I wanted it to. And I'm excited to move on to the next part. Like these endings, especially when I have them organized well, it's just exciting to write. And so I look forward to tomorrow's session as well. But for today, let's do today's line of the day. They trusted the animals at full run, in the night and dark, only invaded by starlight. So I like this line because I wonder when it's really dark out and you're riding horses and they're running. Well, hopefully they can see what they're doing. But as a writer, you're not going to know where to go with them. So you'd have to trust the animals. And so this is me just trying to understand where my characters are and what they're experiencing. And so that's why I pulled this out as today's line of the day. So tomorrow, we're going to pick up right where we left off with Mercer charging into town, Shaw knowing that something's going on, Patrick just having harbored a calm watcher. All these things are happening all at one time. And so we're going to pick up with that tomorrow. And if you would like to see what happens with all these culminating events, please like and subscribe. If you hit the bell, you'll be notified when that video is available. And I will see you then. I feel like I rambled there a little bit. I hope that made sense.